Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. Today is November 29th, 2021, and I'm speaking with Lacey. Lacey went to the Rebekah home. Was it in the 70s, correct? What year was that?
Yes.
70
I think
what?
I'm pretty sure it was 75. No, had been 76.
76? Okay. So we're going
I
to,
left in
yep,
79.
you left in 79. So, okay, you said you were there 2 years?
I was, but I was there a year. The home's closed, and I got sent back and was there until 1970
Wow.
when they.
Now that was, let's go ahead and get into it. So that's when they had that, when the state was going to come in and they had all those pastors around the Rebekah home locked arm to arm.
Yeah, I think so.
The Christian Alamo, I think, is what it was,
I
right?
think I. Yes, it was the big deal.
Yeah.
But didn't they reopen it after that?
Yes, they did.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah. It was.
remember, I remember going to school with some of the Rebekah girls. I mean, not to the school that they were at. Their school was upstairs. Mine was on the
Right.
elementary school was on the bottom floor, and the Rebekah girls were was on the top floor. Now, some of those girls didn't stay at the home. They lived in town. So when I took the school bus back home, there was some girls on there as well.
I didn't know that, or maybe I don't remember it.
Yeah, there wasn't many. There was a few. And I remember the dress code. They would have the white blouse with the red dress. Um, and I believe on Wednesday they had to wear a blue dress and a white blouse or something like that. I can't remember, but
Can you see this?
yeah. Oh my goodness, the scarves.
Yes.
Well, when I was there in the '80s, they didn't have the scarves; they just had the blouse. Of course, the guys had to wear the blue shirt with the tie with the American flag on it,
Yes.
um, with the blue pants, slacks, or whatever. And then on Wednesday, when they had the church service, it was a white shirt with the flag tie and blue slacks.
Well, I
So
remember there was red checkered and a blue checkered shirt and a red uh skirt and a blue skirt, red scarf or a blue scarf, and our culottes.
culottes. don't get don't get me started on those were the ugliest things I have ever seen.
When I got
Oh,
sent up to North Carolina, where the Wagners were going to start another home. This was in 1979 when all that stuff was happening, and they were going to start them a home. Don't know if they ever did or not. I have no idea. I was there. Uh, it was terrible. I ran away. I can get into that as we get into
right.
the.
But getting back to the culottes, I remember when when the girls would wear them for PE outside. They were just like, I mean, you could tell they had been worn a
Oh yeah,
lot. They were faded pink. They had
yes,
the shirt that said Rebecca Christian School on it. So yeah, oh, but those were just
but
the ugliest things I've ever seen.
you didn't get new culottes
Oh
when you
no.
got sent there. Those are hand me downs.
Oh yeah. Washed many times.
Yes, yes.
And I'm sure they used well water out there. So,
Oh,
they
probably have
prob-
well water.
probably really hard water, it
Yes,
tends to fade the clothes really quickly.
yeah,
So, yeah, we'd be out there in that little area, right? And of course, we eat at the Come and Dine right over there
yeah. Right there
on the corner.
behind the if you're facing the school from the home over there to your right.
Right where the steps were. Yep, right from the steps. And the only food that I can remember, I think it was every Wednesday or Thursday, we would have bowls of lima beans.
Oh, yeah, but you ate what you got. The only thing I
Well,
wouldn't eat was
yeah,
liver.
liver. They had
Yeah,
really. I didn't know
yeah.
that.
But Thursdays was peanut butter day.
Thursdays. And like I said, yeah, it was one of those one day a week basically. I'm not sure of the day, but I know they had lima beans, and boy, did I hate that stuff. But I grew to love it. I mean, after a while, it's just like, well,
Yeah,
I guess you eat what you get, you know. So you just scarf the stuff down.
yeah,
It was almost like a porridge, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You
So,
ate what you get Thursdays and Saturdays. I'm 59 years old. Remember it like it was yesterday. Saturdays, pancakes.
uh,
I
uh
think we on Sunday we would only we had to fast.
huh.
I don't remember if they gave us anything or not. We had to fast, so I don't guess so. But after church, we get a like a little Debbie.
Oh.
But you see how fat those girls were?
Yeah.
We all went in there
S-
skinny.
Some of them were pretty hefty.
Yes, but they weren't like that coming in.
No.
And when I was there was 180 girls, I think, and very few had a period. So they gave us something and something that stopped all those girls from having a period. Why? I don't know. And
Mm.
to this day, I don't know.
Well, there was a girl that was on the podcast, and she was at Bethesda, and she said that when they gave them milk, the milk tasted like onions. So I'm not sure if it was something that they put in the milk,
The goat's milk.
the goat's milk, or something they put in the food. But a lot of girls that have come on the podcast that have talked about Rebecca and Bethesda and some of the other roll off homes have said that they never got their period as well. So
Yeah,
something was going on.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, uh, Lacey, how did you end up there, by the way?
Okay, first of all, um, my mom had to like have everything. She had the blue eyed, blonde haired boy, and over here she had the red headed freckled kid with dyslexia. And I just, I was a goofy, happy kid. And my mom hated that. But as the years went by, of course, we had to have the House and Country Club. She had to have the Mercedes. She had to be a member of the country club. But her daughter really would rather mess with the kids on the other side of the tracks.
Ah, okay.
Get me wrong. One of my very best friends lived in country club, and it wasn't. Some of the kids were, like, yeah, I didn't want to hang with them. They were fake.
Okay.
Um. So, as I got a boyfriend, and he was half Mexican, and she just had a fit. All
Mm.
my boyfriends were Mexicans in Corpus,
Yeah.
and I didn't do it to make her mad, but I did start sneaking out. So, you know,
Yeah.
she never talked to me about anything. My brother told me about my period. He was 2 years older. My period, my sex, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, she never liked me. I was the kid when she told you, you better not tell your dad. I was waiting in the garage for my dad.
Yes.
And
Yes.
when you're the kid that I mean, she never talked to me. They were very big drinkers. Very, how do you say it when they drink and they're successful? Uh,
Functioning alcoholics.
yes, yes. Well, my dad was. Mom, not so much. Not so much. She fell in the bathtub one time, and I said, Dad, with her clothes on. So I walked in, and she was doing the toilet paper roll, and I said, Mom. She jumped up off the toilet and fell in the bathtub with her moo on. I said, Dad, Mom fell in the bathtub and she won't wake up. He said, Is her head underwater? I said, No. He said, Leave her. Anyway, I
Uh,
wouldn't quit seeing my boyfriend, and so I got sent away. Not because I tried to kill my mother, which is, I think she had been trying to get me in, and she finally told Brother Roloff she tried to kill me,
yeah,
and that's how I got in. But my parents gave them very good money for me to be there.
right. So some of the stories that Brother Roloff told about some of the girls that were coming in, or even some of the boys from the Anchor and the Lighthouse and the what's that one for older guys? There's another a City of Refuge,
Yes,
and he would see. I mean, some of the stuff was believable. Hey, you know, of course he was hooked on heroin or something, and he came in and he got clean. Okay, fine. But when Roloff told a story about one police officer, actually he was a judge, and the judge said that this kid killed his father because his father wouldn't let him go to church. So he tells Lester Roloff, he says that the kid doesn't need to go to prison. Can you help him? Now, first of all, if a kid kills his dad because he won't let him go to church, throw him in the prison, let him rot. You know.
yes,
So it's like some of his stories were just so hard to believe,
yes, yes.
and
Like
some of the
the
girls too. You know, some of them were prostitutes, some of them were drug addicts.
word. We were all young teenagers.
Yes.
I never met one prostitute the entire time I was there. A lot of girls, their families just didn't want them. There was a little girl, she's a little Eskimo girl from Alaska, and I think she was 13 years old. And I mean, I was only 15, but I thought to myself, how could her? They were from all over the world.
Yeah.
She was barely a teenager. Barb, too.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
it was it. But yes, I would tell you 100%. Okay, now when I first got there, it was the first day. I went in and I sat down. I had to stand when they sang, but my mind was not there. So I don't know what Brother Rollo said about me, but everybody kept telling me, stand up, stand up. I'm sure he told the whole congregation that I tried to kill my mom. But I didn't hear him say it because I was thinking my parents were going to come get me out of this crazy place,
Right.
you know. And I was from the beginning. Miss Cameron hated me. I was her punching bag. And let me tell you, the second year I was in there, I had got so beat so bad. And I'll tell you why in a minute. Thank you, baby. Um, she beat me so bad that they had me in lockup until all my wounds healed. And I'm going to tell you right now, I want to say 3 months. And they would not, and I was at the helper's home. They put me in lockup at the other home where the older ladies, not the older ladies, but like,
Not
what
not
is
the not the
18 and up?
Jubilee.
Yes, yes, yes,
Jubilee.
yes, yes. The one that's right next door.
Right.
Yes.
Jubilee.
So I was in there and their lockup was terrible. It was a cement floor. I had a mattress, but there's no sheet. You can't have a sheet because maybe you'll hang yourself. I wouldn't have been able to cover up anyway with all my wounds. Um, Maybe I had toilet paper. Surely I did. But when they fed me, they would open the door, give me the food, and shut the door real quick. Nobody came to look at me. Nobody. tried to help me with my wounds. Um, yeah, let me backtrack and tell you why.
Okay.
This is the second year now. Okay, I was friends with a girl from, I met her in Rebekah the first year I was there. And I'm not going to say her name, although I know it. We'll just call her Kelly
Okay.
because that's really her name. But I won't say her last name. Her and another girl, some little thing with straight blonde hair. I don't know her name. Anyway, when we both got out the first time, um, she started going out with one of my first husband's friends, which, he beat the crap out of me too. Every man until I met my husband 27 years ago. Every man I was ever with beat me. My parents didn't beat me. I got the black belt when I was bad, but my parents never beat me. I never knew. Let me get back to the story because I will go over myself. Anyway, so she came back. And she came back to break me out. You can't break out of there. I
No.
mean, I know some girls have, and I don't know how, but I know that it's happened. Anyway, this is terrible. Did you know Miss Bradley?
Yes. I
Okay,
remember Miss Bradley.
sweet, sweet, sweet old woman.
Short,
Did not,
chunky. Yes.
yeah, yeah. Did nothing but
She had
help the
almost had
girl.
like a little Bobby haircut.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, yeah. She was an amazing woman. Anyway, so Kelly and her friend. Now I didn't know any of this. I was not allowed to talk to Kelly. I was not to be anywhere around her. And when this happened, I was soaking in a tub because I had a terrible UTI that they wouldn't take me to the doctor for. Soaking in a hot tub seemed to help. So anyway, Kelly and the other girl went up to Miss Bradley's room, which was the last room upstairs on your right. And they went up there to tell her they wanted to pray. Well, they tried to tie her up. Of course, none of this happened. And they never got to use a telephone. And had they been able to, who are they going to call and what are they going to do?
Right.
Anyway, I hear a commotion while I'm in the bathtub, and then I hear Lacey Haynes, Lacey Haynes, like 100 times. And I'm thinking, what? So I get out, I get dressed, I go, and that's when I had the beating of my life. Now, she
Oh.
beat me a lot, but not like this. And then sweet old Miss Bradley, before I got beat, she walked up, she came to here on
Yeah.
me because fall. And she looked at me, boy, she reached back and she slapped me so hard, I like to fell. And I'm like, why? Or what?
Yeah.
Anyway, she said something to me, and I'll never remember what it was. And then she left. And then I went in Miss Cameron's office. She shut the door. She had stuff on her desk. She also had a cactus plant. And she put me on my stomach. No, I had to bend over the desk. I ended up flat on the desk because I bit down on that cactus because I was in so much pain everywhere. My entire body beat, 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 bloody, beat. And then they had to get me out of there and stick me in that other lockup. That's why
Mm.
they didn't want to open the door to see me. They probably said, "Don't you go in there and talk to her, or look at her, or anything."
They ruled by fear, basically.
The
So
God they wanted us to love was a very scary God. And I
Yes.
was with Brother Roloff in his plane. I can't even count the times. He would take me to the City of Refuge. Is that right? The one in the valley.
The one in the valley, City of Refuge, yes. Out there on the bay. Or the
He would
canal.
fly.
The canal, yeah.
He'd fly me there all the time. I can't remember other places we went, but yeah, my parents gave him money.
Yeah.
So I never told him when I got out of Rebecca the first time. I never told my parents. They're not going to believe you. I mean, it's so unbelievable. Lacey
Yeah.
already tried to kill her mom.
Well,
So
the thing about when Roloff said something about you wanting to murder your mom or whatever, I think I've had a chance to think about it for a few minutes while you were talking, and I think the reason why he says stuff like that is because he gets donations from
yes,
churches. He gets donations from his people there at the church, and of course to say, well, this Lacey woman, she stayed out too late and she wouldn't mind her mom.
yeah,
It just doesn't sound like you're a mean person.
fatty.
So let's kind of make the story more interesting. Oh, she tried to murder her mom. Oh, that sounds so much better. It's got a lot.
Everybody looking at me when they finally told me, stand up. And I'm like, what? But I wouldn't talk to anybody. So I wish I could have heard him. And I'm sure 100% because he made a big deal about me being there. And, you know, when I'm not going to speak for everybody, but most of us girls, when we're in church, we're not listening. We're thinking about our old boyfriends. I wish he'd show up in church. Um, Maybe my mom's going to get me out because, well, I knew my mom wouldn't, but I was hoping my dad would. And my dad, he loved me. I know he did, but mom wore the pants in the family and he went along with it.
Right.
Um, I get it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have done it a different way. Had they sat down and talked to me, maybe I wouldn't have ended up shacking up with this guy and having two kids, three miscarriages because he beat me so bad. Maybe I wouldn't have never had to go through that. Had you just sat down and talked to me instead
Right.
of going to tell a stranger that I tried to kill you. And I didn't find that out till I was out.
Makes for a great
So,
story. But,
what?
a rebellious teenager or an attempted murderer. Which
But you
one?
know what? Because she told family and friends that I tried to kill her. I mean, she had to keep up her story, right?
Right.
But I'm going to tell you why. When she sent me away, nobody could believe it. They just couldn't believe it. How could you do that to your daughter? And she had to come up with a story. Lacey did this. Oh, in 1985, one of the children I had with my first, we'll call him Benny. That's his name. Um. Oh my God, where was I? Oh, okay. So I married this other guy. I thought, oh, he's raising his kids. It's going to be wonderful. We'll be a big family. He's got to be great, right? He's
Yeah.
raising his own kids. And he seems to be good to mine.
Hope your video just went out.
Uh oh. I need
There
a
you go.
charger. Um, 3 months after, is it charging? I guess.
Hmm.
3 months after I had married this man, my 22-month-old son died. I never knew what happened to my son. All I did was go to the store, came back, and my husband had gave him a bath. And I asked him, why'd you give him a bath? He got arrested for the murder of my son, but he was found not guilty. Always in the back of my head, I don't know what happened. So,
Hmm.
anyway,
Well,
I stayed with him for maybe 5 years. And I would say 6 years ago, maybe, my stepson, that still call me mom, came to me and said, Mom, I killed baby John. Well, when you tell me that, I'm going to be crazy.
yeah.
But he was a child. When I think back now, because after he told me that, a couple of months later, he shot himself in the head. He was just a kid, Jason. I think he was 9. And apparently, what happened was we lived in a mobile home park, and the stairs going down. Well, he was trying to carry baby John, and he dropped him. And when he dropped him on the corner of that stair. I'm thinking
Oh,
maybe he stepped on him afterwards. And my son died of a ruptured spleen. That was not done out of malice. That was a
an accident.
terrible accident. But my mother told everybody I killed my son. That's why, you know, that's why I had to send her away. She was so evil. And do you
She,
know what, Jason?
yeah,
People believed her. Friends I grew up with, my very best friend, believed my mom. So you know what?
that's
Shame
sad.
on them.
Yeah.
It was really very terrible. I have forgiven everybody for what they have done. When it comes to Bobo, my stepson, boy, I wish I wouldn't have gone crazy on him. I really do. Because he was just a kid and it was a horrible accident. And he never had to tell me that. He
Right.
never had to. I'm glad he did because now I know.
I guess he just couldn't hold the secret any longer.
Well, he had such a terrible life. He really did.
Hmm.
His mentally abusive, from his dad, which he was really good at that. But I don't know, honey. Life is terrible. But I hope that Bobo and Baby John are up there kicking it.
Now I know that uh, Roloff died in a plane crash, and I believe it was '82. Um, and my family went to the funeral. They had the his graduation ceremony at the Memorial Coliseum in Corpus
Oh
Christi.
yeah,
Yes, the place was packed, um,
was
and
the news crews there?
the news was there. Yes,
Sure.
yes, it was. It was quite a display. Yes, and of course, there's. I've heard rumors that people have said that maybe somebody wanted Roloff dead, and did something to his plane to cause it to crash. I don't know. Uh,
I wouldn't doubt it.
no, he
I,
made a
I
lot of
would.
enemies. He made a lot of enemies.
Well, but Bush was on his side the whole time, right?
Bush.
Yeah. Wasn't he our governor at the time?
Oh, Governor Bush. Governor Bush was no, not in the early '80s and '70s. No,
Not in the 70s? Who
no,
was it?
I have no idea. I can't remember. I know Bush was governor in the '90s.
Okay,
He was already
maybe he
dead.
was. I don't know what he was. He was something, but I do know he supported it.
Yeah.
Um,
Of
I
course,
don't
he
know.
supported the conservatives. Of course, you know.
Of course,
Yeah.
of course.
And you were talking about when we were talking about the food. You said something about liver. I'm thinking, you know, Roloff was such a health nut
Yes.
from what he said. You know, lemon water, you know, fruits,
When
vegetables.
I went to his house, now I've been to his house several times, and I have sat at the table with his wife. She didn't really speak much, but she would, you know, and I'm a talker,
Yeah.
so um, he would make me these. I can picture it, but I couldn't tell you what was in it. And I was pregnant and I got drunk. Yes, I did, and went to church. And he called me out in front of the audience and said, "I'd like to talk to you." And I'm like, "Oh, I want to talk to you too." He took me to the house and was like, "So how far are you?" And
Yeah.
very, very, wanting questions about my child, which I was 17 still. And that baby had died at 4 months, but I carried him 2 months dead. He was 4 months in my body. He had grown that. And then dead, I carried him two more. So, of course, I wasn't going to give him my baby, but
Yeah.
he sure was interesting.
That's
Interesting.
that's another thing. Selling babies.
Yes.
I've heard a lot about that too. Selling
Well, I
babies.
only knew one girl that, when you came to Rebecca, if you they find out you're pregnant, they send you to Bethesda, of course.
Right.
They had sent the certain. She was such a doll. I remember her nickname, but I don't remember her name. She was a doll. I loved her. She was just, even though she was in this predicament, and she was just a happy-go-lucky girl. You made of it what you made of it. You know,
Right.
did make friends. I mean, lifelong friends. I mean, I keep in touch with several of that. I mean, it's an unbreakable bond. And she was just so giddy. And they sent her to Bethesda to sell her baby. And when she came back, I'm sure she had postpartum depression on top of them taking her baby. And they did just that. I mean, she didn't get to hold her baby. Um, Not that I remember. I don't want to tell a lie. Not that I remember, but it was terrible. And that messed her up. They messed me up, Jason. They made me, especially when I got out, and every man I ever got with, which was plenty, ain't gonna lie, um, beat me. I got hard. I got hard. You can, to this day, you can't hurt me. You just can't.
You got a real thick skin, basically.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did that to me. Oh, the men did too, but they started it. They really did. I did not know that it was like that out in the real world too. You know,
Do you remember Miss Yoder?
I loved her.
Everybody did. Everybody loved Miss
Yes,
Yoder.
she was so wonderful. I would go to her trailer sometimes. You would think because I was beat so much that I would not have these privileges, but I did. I did. I went to her trailer. Her daughter, which what's her name?
I remember her daughter. She had like her teeth were kind of weird and she had to have braces and everything. But
Yes. Well, I found her not that long ago, maybe a couple of years ago, and I was so excited to find her. but she didn't know my story. And so I was trying to tell her my story, and she blocked me.
Oh man.
They don't want to hear it. They don't want to believe it.
Well, no, of course, because they're going to know that they've been living a lie.
And Jason, it's still going on.
Yes, it is. In other homes, Agape, uh, and a few other homes. Was it Sisters? I think is it Sisters of Mercy. I think is what it's called. But yeah, there are other homes that are open that have adopted the roll off doctrine.
Yes.
King James only, Bible
Yeah.
believing, everything. Everything in the Bible is true. So,
It took me a long time. I gotta get this blanket. Um, to find God. Ah! I'd send my kids to church because they wanted to go, so they rode a little. We live out. I live in Southeast Texas, and
uh huh.
we're in the woods, and so not much for the kids to do. So they love to go to church, and but I wouldn't go.
No.
I didn't want to go and listen to them, you know. But I know, and I still don't go to church, Jason. I don't. I can
I
love
don't.
God right here on my porch.
I remember those services were just brutal. It was never. He never talked about
For the
love.
movies.
He always talked about you're a sinner. You need
Yes.
to repent, or else you're going to
Yes.
hell. I mean, that's
Yes.
all he ever talked about.
Yes.
And of course, Sundays you had the Sunday school, then you had the Sunday service, and then you had the afternoon service, and then you had the nightly service, and then Wednesday, and then Saturday. I'm like, how many times can you go to church and listen to the same story?
And then in the room, the intercom.
Oh, oh, don't get me started on the intercoms. That roll off was playing 24 hours a day.
Oh, when
Those
I was in
intercoms.
lockup for that all that time, every time I went in lockup, you know, there's pictures of the group. So, girl, I'm not in there because I'm in lockup.
Yeah.
Uh, but I was there anyway. I forgot what I was going to say, Jason. What did you ask?
Oh, I didn't ask you. I was just letting you know about the roll off.
Oh,
20.
all the church,
Yeah.
all the church.
Yes.
Um,
And what's funny about that is the fact that there's a website called rolloff.org where you can listen to his sermons 24 hours a day.
do
Oh,
you think people do?
well, it's still up. It's still on. The family altar program. I mean, no telling how many.
Ah,
Yeah, no telling how many
remember the song
thousands.
Living by Faith?
Yes, that was the song they always sang all the time. Living by faith,
Yes. Oh
and
my
then
gosh, that was like a million years ago, the things that you remember.
yes, and then of course they would have the song "Come and Dine." They would sing that one. But "Living by Faith" was their theme song, basically. So,
Yes.
and I
It got
remember,
old
yes, it
very
did.
quickly.
Yes, and it got to the point where they didn't have to open up their books, their hymnals. They knew the songs by heart.
We knew all the songs by heart.
Yes.
Dyslexic Lacey over here had the hardest time memorizing the chapters. We'd have to go upstairs and learn our chapters. If you did not learn the chapter by heart, oh, let me turn around. Then you got licks. So you
Yeah.
tried really, really hard. And for somebody like me, forget it. And you know, we worked at our own pace, right? I think I was in like third grade level.
ACE, yes, I remember those. Um,
Yes.
I remember the little cubicles, and you had that little stick that was red and on one side and blue on the other side, and you
And
used
you had
it.
to stick it up there.
Yep,
God
yep.
forbid you try to go over your board. Yeah. Boy, oh boy, I got in trouble. I was so bored. I just fall asleep. You know, you could leave somebody alone or Maybe tap them on the shoulder. You don't have to pull them by their ponytail to the dude that's got the fishing pole rod. I will tell you, hurt a lot less. It hurt. Don't get me wrong. Hurt a lot less than that board.
Yeah, yeah. The board was flat. Fishing rod is round. It's almost like a
Yeah,
whip. Almost like a whip.
you can hear it coming.
It stings. It stings. Oh yeah, I've been spanked with twigs and branches and stuff. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, my husband was raised because he was raised up here in the woods. He had to go get his own stick,
Yep, I
and if
remember
you
those
brought back
days.
a little one, oh no 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 no!
And Wiley Cameron died. You know that, right?
Yeah, burned
Yeah.
to death. Wonder why that is. He never beat me.
He
Never
burned.
not one.
He burned to death.
Yeah, you think that's a coincidence?
Well, as I said in the other podcast, we were talking about that, and what happened was he was welding, and it arced his ring, his wedding ring,
Hmm.
and it caught his clothes on fire. And I told the person on the podcast, I said, I knew that Miss Cameron was going to be the death of him, and she was. So the wedding ring is what did it.
Right?
Burned him on
Yeah,
almost
he
eighty
was.
percent. And the thing was, he wouldn't take morphine. They wanted to give it to him, but he would not take it.
Why?
Maybe he thought he would become an addict. I don't know. But yeah, he refused it. So this guy was, I'm sure, in just pain, excruciating pain.
Good. God forgive me, but I mean, I just don't see that as a coinky dinky.
Right.
I don't. I don't. I mean, I know if you ask forgiveness for everything you've done, God will forgive you.
He stayed
But
alive. He stayed alive for 2 weeks. Imagine
yeah,
two weeks of excruciating pain from burn, third-degree burns. Miss Cameron finally had them pull the plug. So, and I'm sure
wait a bit.
the thing is, I think maybe I mean, like I said, excruciating pain. I'm sure that when he was asleep or not, passed out because of the pain, I'm sure they probably gave him morphine. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm sure he didn't spend all 2 weeks without morphine. I'm sure they gave him something for the pain.
right.
So, but Miss Cameron's still alive, as far as I know. So
Well, that's what I've heard.
she's not in Texas anymore. She's no longer
No,
allowed to teach in
well, no,
Texas.
she got kicked out of Texas. Now
Yeah,
that's something.
back to Georgia.
Let me
So
tell you how I got away in North Carolina. Okay, so I went up there. I tried to be good. I had to wear. They had horses.
hmm
Horses know your soul. I love them. And so, I had to wear my culottes to ride the horses. But their worldly family lived right there, and there was a boy my age that would just look at me like a goof. Um, okay, Miss Wagner slapped me around a lot, a lot, a lot, a lot. Knocked me to the ground plenty of times. But I'm not going to talk about that. We already know that's what happened to me, and it was terrible. Okay, so the cute dude's dad took me. He said, "You want to go for a ride?" Well, of course I want to go for a ride. So I sat in front of him. No, I sat behind him. And he grabbed my hands on that little thing on the saddle that pokes up.
right, the horn.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. And, and put my hands on that to hold on. But eventually, he put my hand on his wiener. Okay, I'm freaking out. He's an old man, which he's probably in his 40s.
Right.
So I told him, I'm ready. Thank you for the ride. I'm ready to go back. Okay, nothing like that never happened with this guy again. So we went to, I think it was one of them's sisters. And she had 3 kids, and they were worldly, this family. And the dad drove a truck, for a living.
Mm-hmm.
And they had TVs, and oh, I liked it there. And probably had my culottes on. Anyway, I don't remember how it happened, but he asked me, "You want to ride in my truck?" Okay, the uh, the Wagners, they had 2 daughters. Um, they were staying at the grandparents, which was like next door, and they had to go somewhere. I don't know where, but it was overnight, and they trusted me to not leave. I had a bird. That bird stayed with me in Rebekah. That bird meant the world to me. Anyway, so yeah, I want to go ride. They're gone. So I thought, what's the harm? He got me drunk. I was 17. I didn't know I was legal in the state of Texas at 17. So, because I was still in Rebecca. And then when the home's closed, sent to North Carolina. So he got me drunk. And then we had sex. Um, oh my God, I felt so dirty, so terrible, so shamed. And then he dropped me off when he was done with me on the highway. It's real hilly in North Carolina.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I, just right there is the highway. And if you walk down there, you know, it's the highway. So I went and got me a couple pair of panties, put my skirt on, not my culottes, took a shower, and had to make the decision to leave my bird. And I walked down there. I wasn't there 5 minutes. A truck pulled over, and I was hitchhiking the wrong way. They asked me where you want to go. I said right now, just out of here, but I'm trying to get to Texas. And they're like, "You're going the wrong way." I said, "Right now, I don't care. Just please." So they took me to their run, and then on the way back, they got me a ride, and then they got me a ride, and then they got me a ride, and then I got a ride with the peanut hauler. He had a daughter my age, red hair, big old red beard, and he was mad at me. He didn't know that I was running away from a very abusive people. Because, okay, one time I slapped Kathy back. I was tired of getting hit on. And so Brother Wagner knocked me to the ground. So, okay, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. Don't care. Don't care if I die. Why does my phone keep doing this? Anyway, that's how I got back home to my wonderful boyfriend that, you know.
Seems like
Yeah.
it's been a pretty exciting time. Not exciting as in fun, but lots of
Yeah,
excitement.
it is what it is. It is what it is. It was terrible. I mean, it ruined my life for a very long time. And then when I met my husband, we've been married for 27 years. And I have terrible health. I have been on the transplant list for 13 years for my liver. And they hadn't seen me in 2 years because of COVID. They didn't take care of me at all. So I
Hmm.
went in there and they said, okay, we're going to give you your COVID shot. And I said, I'm not taking it. He said, well, you're kicked off the list.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, I was never going to take the transplant anyway. I just really needed you to keep me alive. And they've done a very good job at that. So I ain't worried about it. I mean,
what's the problem with your liver?
well, after my son died, I met another guy. He introduced me to.
Oh, That'll do
So
it.
yeah, hepatitis C. Yeah, the silent killer. But I was one of the rats that, I mean, it did almost kill me, but it killed the hepatitis too. And now you just take a pill and you're
Yeah,
fine.
I think there's something that they can cure the hepatitis C, I believe, with a treatment that
Yeah.
it's like 100,000 or something for that treatment. Or,
Oh, is it
oh,
really?
it's expensive. Oh yes.
Well, I'm on Medicaid, so it didn't cost me a dime. But it was a trial. I mean, I took shots in my stomach and took two different pills.
Right.
Really, when you get a shot in your stomach, it doesn't hurt at all. You would think it did, but the fat in your tummy
Uh huh.
you can't feel it.
Can't feel it, huh?
Mm-mm.
Oh. Well, it's hopefully soon. The roll off homes will be gone. I mean, I know that the homes now in Corpus, it's basically just hanging on by a thread.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Do you know who the pastor is there now? Because I think it's my old babysitter's husband. Her name is Sherry. Maiden name was Wiggins. Kelly Wiggins was in the home with me. We grew up together. I can't think of his name, but I'm pretty sure he's the pastor.
Let me see here. I'm looking it up here. It's the People's Baptist Church still, and I know that they're selling land off, acres of land, because they're trying to stay afloat.
Really?
Yes, they're
They're gonna
not
sell.
doing very good.
They're gonna sell that land. They're gonna start finding bodies.
Oh, wouldn't that be something?
Yeah. I mean, it's got to come back on these people.
It
Don't
says
you think?
here that the pastor's name is Bill Lindley.
No. Maybe he just works at the church.
So
But
that's
I
who's.
think that they were like wanting to open the homes, just a couple of girls, Sherry and her husband, which I can text you the name once I look it up.
Uh huh.
They're on those groups, the Rebekah home group, and not on the rejects. And let me tell you, maybe it helps some girls. You know, I'm not gonna say it didn't because clearly, if you don't like it when you talk bad about your experiences, and I'll get a lot of backlash for this, but you know what, Jason, it is what it is, and it's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I like I said, I was there. I saw kids get beat. You know, I know it's true. I mean, just because they say they're Christians and they believe the Bible doesn't mean anything.
I will tell you, when Faye beat me, devil, devil, she was a wicked woman.
Yeah.
Oh, God healed me. I can walk because she was in a wheelchair. And
Oh.
apparently, God healed her so that she could stand up and beat the crap out of me and a bunch of other girls.
Yeah. Yeah. She was not a nice woman. I never met her.
Really?
Right. I never met her. She was always at the Rebecca home whenever I
Yes.
was there. Um, I
Did
met
you ever see her?
I saw her passing by, going to the church, but that's
Uh,
about it. I never talked to her. I never associated with her. I had met Wiley Cameron. I met Brother Roloff. So yeah, I met him. I mean, it was just in passing. Hi, how you doing? God bless you, son, or whatever. But that's about it.
Let me tell you a story real quick. I don't know how long we've been on here.
We got about 6 minutes left.
Okay, let me tell you a story. Brother
Okay.
Roloff loved to take, and he would let me take a couple of girls with me. and just go knock on my parents' door. And these pictures I'm showing you now, or that I showed you, it was in the morning. Daddy was at work, and my brother and my mom's cars were in the driveway. I don't know why Lee's car was in the driveway. Maybe they got a heads up. But all you had to do is look in the window. There it is. They wouldn't answer the door. So I told them, hold on real quick. Oh, no, no, no. That's a different day. Different day because my daddy wasn't there. I said, hold on a minute because I sneak out the kitchen window. And I went in the back. It was still unlocked. I opened that window and I'm like, hello, hello, Mom, Lee. Nothing. Only Miko, the little dog. And I went in my mom's room. And in her bathroom was my brother and my mother by the toilet, squatting down, hiding. Really? Really? I looked at them and I just shook my head and I went and opened the door. And me and the girls and Brother Olaf came in. And I asked my brother. My dad died at 46 from a massive heart attack, and my brother died at 50. He had a little cocaine problem, my brother. And he died at 50. I loved my brother. He stole all my grandma's money that we were supposed to split. You know what? I still didn't care because I still loved my brother. He just didn't love me back. But the last time, I would call him once a month, and the last time I called him, I said, I love you, Lee. He said, I love you too, Lacey. And then a couple weeks later, he died.
Mm.
But anyway, at Grandma's funeral, I asked him, do you remember that day that, and he's like, no, I do not remember that. And I'm thinking, how could you forget that? No, he remembered that day. I really appreciate you, Jason, and it was so fun talking to you.
Yes, it's been a lot of fun as well. Just I mean, having to relive on some of the memories bad, but some good memories, I'm sure.
Well, I
Right?
mean, I have lifelong friends that I would have never met. Um, Maybe because I went through all that, maybe just maybe later in life, it made me a better person. It made me more compassionate towards other people. You know,
Yeah.
who knows?
Mm.
But I do know they destroyed me for a long time. I destroyed myself.
And that happens when you're forced to do things you don't want to do. As far as you're going to read this, you're going to read the Bible, you're going to memorize it. Roloff always said the best way to keep your mind strong is to memorize chapters. Memorize a chapter a day. I'm like, are you serious? No, I'm not going to memorize a chapter a day. No.
Memorized it, but I had no idea what it was saying.
Yeah. Well, we had to memorize chapters as well, or else we
Oh, did
failed.
you for
Oh
school?
yes. Oh yes.
Why did your parents put you in that school?
My dad was a huge Lester Roloff supporter, a Lesterite, as I like to call him. He loved his teachings. He followed his teachings. He even knew what brand of ice cream he liked. So yeah, pralines and cream. That was Lester Roloff's favorite ice cream.
Wow.
He would make
You know,
it homemade. Remember the little bucket, the little wooden bucket that you turn and
that's
yep,
how we do it here.
yep.
I make my grandkids do that.
So
Once
yeah.
they eat it, then they're okay with it.
So
But yeah, I remember doing it as a kid. And
get the
go
salt and
ahead.
the ice and all that stuff. But yeah, a lot of the things that Lester Roloff would eat and some of his mannerisms, my dad would copy it as well. When we had ice cream, we had pralines and cream, of course, because it was Lester Roloff's favorite. You know,
What about your
so
mom?
my mother was originally um, Methodist, and she changed religions for my dad. She wasn't too hip on the Baptist religion. She didn't like it too much. I understand why, but
Yes.
there was even a Spanish church in Corpus on McCardle Road. It was called the Lamb of God Baptist Church, and the property that this church was on, Lester Roloff gave that land to this other pastor. His name is Leal. Gave him the property to build his church, and as far as I know, it's still there. So,
Huh.
but we went there for a while because it was a Spanish speaking church. I don't speak Spanish. My parents did. They never taught us because whenever they argued in Spanish. So they didn't want us to know what they were saying. Which is fine. It doesn't matter. Um,
Well, did your siblings also go to the school?
yes, yes.
How many
My
do you
brother.
have?
I have two brothers and a sister. My older brother, when he left the Rebekah Christian School, he went to the Lighthouse for about half a year to
Oh,
school there.
nice.
And then my younger brother was at Park Avenue Christian School in Corpus, the little elementary school. I mean, we're talking kindergarten to like fourth grade or third grade or something like that. Mrs. Copeland, you remember Mrs. Copeland?
Yes. What does she
Big,
look like?
big, tall lady with a white bouffant hairdo. Very skinny, very skinny.
I had bouffants
Yeah.
because it was the 70s or early 80s. You should see my 80s hair. Oh my goodness. One time I walked into a store and everybody was looking at me and I thought, Aquanet. I thought, oh man, I'm looking pretty today. And they just kept looking at me and I just smile. I had a moth stuck in my hair that was
Oh,
still alive and they were looking at the moth. No, I did not look pretty that day.
she looked like a tall, skinny B. Arthur, is what she looked like. Very tall lady, very tall lady.
I
But
can remember her.
she she didn't go to the church too often. But
Yeah, I
um,
don't remember her.
yeah, she was the principal at that other elementary school. Very nice. She was a nice lady. I had no complaints about her. Nothing bad.
Did
Nothing
y'all,
bad to say.
um, who was our typing teacher? Didn't we type? No, we didn't type.
At the Rebecca School, I believe there was typing classes. I never
Was
took any.
there?
Yeah, I
Well,
never took
I
any.
think we did either. I do know we had homemaking.
Well, of course, you have to be the proper wife. You have to learn how to cook, clean, wash clothes, do all that stuff. And sew, you have to sew. You
Yeah.
know,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we had sewing class.
yes. You have to. What did Roloff say? He said you have to train them up to be ladies.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
of course,
Let's beat them into being ladies.
right. But he didn't turn them into ladies. He turned them into crazy women after that, and he turned them into housemakers and housewives. That's all he did. Because he believed
He,
that the man was
he,
the head of the
turned
household.
them, he turned them hard
Yes,
or
yes.
meek. I was very meek at first. It took a long time for me to say, you are not going to do that to me, and you're not going to talk to me like that.
Right.
When I had sex with the relative, with the Wagners, um, I didn't tell him no. It was just what it was. I was drunk and whatever. Okay. Because I'm a Rebecca girl, I'm a whore, you know,
Yeah.
and they
Yeah.
all thought of me as such.
You're all sinners. Every one of you.
Yeah.
That's what they said. You're all sinners. You need to
What were
repent.
what was God thinking when she was beating those girls and Wiley beating Barb because she bit her nails?
I heard that um, Wiley Cameron was quite the ladies' man.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I never knew he beat anybody. I did not I never I know Barbara was this teeny weeny little thing. Why he did that to her, and I want to say I don't know anybody else that was beaten by him.
Hmm.
But can you imagine that strength? And why did he not like her so much? I
Yeah.
mean, that was just strange. And yes, the girls would call him, they call her Mama Bear. What they call him? I can't
Hmm.
remember. I never was one of the ones that would hang on him. But if he went down the hall, the girls hung on him. And you would think those would be the girls that Faye would want to beat, right?
Right. And I was talking to a girl named Dottie who was on the podcast, and she said maybe that's the reason why Faye was always beating the Rebecca girls because Wiley was flirting with them.
Well, he never flirted with me, ever.
Well, he flirted with some of them.
Oh, a lot of them. I've
His
seen
his
it. I mean,
cologne, his cologne. What did
yes.
what did Dottie say?
Oh my.
She said he called it to catch my prick. That's what it was. Yes.
Oh my God. He did. You could smell him a mile away
Yeah.
with that corn. Now, why did he do that? Why did he do that?
I guess to get the girls smelling it, get the pheromones going.
I'm going to tell
So
you right now.
yeah.
I believe. Now, I can't, I don't know for sure. But Jason, you know him and those girls went at it somewhere.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There's can't prove it, but I have a sneaky suspicion that he did have sex with some of those girls. I have no
Yeah.
doubt. The ones he could
And
trust, the
we're
ones
going
he
to have to
knew,
do it with those.
right? The ones he knew wouldn't say anything.
Oh, yeah.
So,
They knew whose parents cared about their kids and whose didn't.
right, right. All right, Lacey. I had a lot of fun talking
Me
to you.
too.
It was great. We should do it
It
again.
was
Maybe
great.
next time bring Barb on. That would be great.
I would love to, but I'm in Texas and she's
Well, she can come
where's
on.
she?
She can be on the video, and you can see her.
Oh,
So,
set us up.
yeah.
That would be fun.
Just yeah, I'll have to.
She still struggles
Yeah,
a lot. She told me you've really helped her a lot.
that's good. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah,
Lacey.
but I
Yeah.
don't struggle with it anymore.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I've got grandkids. I have a wonderful life. I am not gonna let that ruin me. I can't. I just can't. But Barb
Yeah.
needs she needs our support to help
Yes.
her. She's so lovely. I just love her. Yeah, so let's do that.
Okay. I'll get in touch with Barb and we'll figure out a date and see when we could do it. Okay. So,
Okay.
I'm going to end the podcast. Go ahead and stay on the line. Don't hang up.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I want to thank Lacey for coming on the Hammer podcast today and sharing her story with us. Brings back so many memories. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of my time there. So, if you want to be on the podcast, I'll leave a link below. I do it once a week for an hour, Monday, or if we go over a little bit, that's fine. But usually an hour. And just text me. The number is also going to, or you can send me a message. It's on the right side of the website, and just let me know what date you want. It's all at 6 o'clock. That way, we're not doing all these different times. We'll just keep it at 6 o'clock. Okay. So for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other, and we'll see you in the next podcast. All right. See you later.